my writing. Thank you. But
Because today I was reading Baal Shem Tov and the 18th of Elul.
and what?
And the 18th of Elul.
Oh, 18th of Elul. Yes.
Shh. I have the world correct. I was reading your book. So it all came together, you know, and Baal Shem Tov, he started Hasidus. So it just was spiritually uplifting and it just made me feel good. And knowing that you're coming again here, it just made it even better. That you're here on this holiday.
Okay, but I don't need accolades. I want to hear a good question.
A question. Oh.
A comment. A thought. Stump the rabbi. Stump the rabbis. But I mean something that that you're thinking about. Something profound.
Profound.
I don't want to put you on the spot.
What's your next project?
My next project, I'm doing now oral interview, history interview of families. I will say it again. I said it last time briefly. Everyone has an obligation, especially older people, to have themselves recorded, their history, their parents, their grandparents, their life. I just finished recording someone 15 sessions. 20 to 30 hours. Fascinating. Right? Now the family wanted it. Don't wait till you're 99 years old. Okay?
Why not? You forget about it.
Why not?
Why not?
Number one, you may not hit 99.
Who said so?
You may.
No, I know I'm going to do it.
Okay, but you don't gotta wait anyway. The point is,
I already recorded everything.
every person has a story, really.
Eliezer, I record you every morning, so we have the whole history.
Your family, your children, your grandchildren.
See, I plan on that.
You know how many grandchildren, my own grandchildren, they don't know. So what I did, you read the book I wrote about my father? That's years in the making. I just never got to it. So I decided, my brothers and my sister and I, it has to be done. That's it. You know? Otherwise, it doesn't get done. So you asked me what I'm really working on now. That's something that I'm investing a lot of time in and working with people to try to do this, you know. There are different ways of doing it, you know, but for example, I did about 8 or 9 interviews with a rabbi in Maplewood, New Jersey. Mark, your town or something, right?
That's my neighborhood.
That's your neighborhood.
What rabbi?
Rabbi Shmuel Pesach Bogomilsky. Rabbi Bogomilsky. Thank you. Okay.
You want the suspenders?
So,
Dangerous.
I should have not said his name. So, yeah, you're right. So the bottom line is, the family called me. I remember I was here in Coral Springs at Walmart, not Staples, and I got a call from a grandson. You know, we followed your writing, this and that, and YouTube's, and would you do this? I said, do you do this? I said, yeah, we could talk about it. So it got done. They want to turn it into a book because there's different parts. There's the recording, right? That's number one. Then there's transcription, and then there's publishing, different stages. But the rabbi, his health is not the best. He's 85 now. He's a kid. This kid, the family could have woken up 10 years before when he was healthier and his mind was more sharp. So, you know, another example. My father and my uncle donated a Torah to a yeshiva in Israel years ago, in 1994. And I went to the ceremony in Israel. And I was dancing behind my father and my uncle and people as the Torah is being walked in the streets of Bnei Brak, so next to Tel Aviv over there. And And I turned to them and I said, would have not been nicer if your father and your mother were here behind us, dancing with us? Why do we wait till people die to give a Torah? The same money that you donated for the Torah now, you probably had it 10 years ago. And I know they had it 10 years ago. There is this thing that we wait. What are we waiting for? What are we waiting for? Let's do things now. The Rebbe in the 1980s was already an 80-year-old man going in his 80s. The Rebbe opened up his treasures, his letters that he wrote to people, and he had his letters published. And you know how helpful today those letters are? To thousands, hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of people who look to the Rebbe's letters as guidance, as inspiration. So I say, Eliezer's your name. Wait till 99. You don't have to wait till 99.
Eliezer ben Yehuda.
Eliezer ben Yehuda. That's new?
Very, very interesting.
Yeah. Are you related to him?
No. I'm related to Gomorrah.
You related to who?
Gomorrah.
Gemara?
Yes. Who's Gomorrah? Oh, Gomorrah is one of the books.
Okay. Anyway, the bottom line is, Eliezer, the mind doesn't work as sharp, forgetfulness, tiredness. You know, I'm interviewing people 84, 85, 86. They fall asleep. Instead of doing a 2-3 hour interview, I got to do an hour and a half. I work with the person. Well, how much can the person tolerate? You know, having an interview where you fall asleep, where you're like, it's not the quality, right? So the younger you are, the more fresh you are. So this is very important, very, very important for all, especially for the future generations, for our own family, for our own family. Where do we come from? I think your family comes from Morocco, am I right?
My father's side.
The father's side, right? What
My
happened?
mother's side were descendants of the Baal Shem Tov.
No, I didn't know. Wow. So what happened in Morocco? Which city in Morocco? Which shuls in Morocco? You know, I find that fascinating. I really do. You know, history. I just recorded, it's going to come out in the next few weeks on the internet, a shul in Crown Heights, that today's a church there. I found out that this was a shul starting in the 1920s. And I found out who the rabbi was. And then another rabbi in the 1940s. You know, okay, there's so much history. Now, you'll say, well, what's that relevant to a grandson or a granddaughter or a child later? First of all, you never know what turns a person on to God, to Torah, to Jewishness, to family. I'll tell you a story. It's also online, but 1973, coldest day in January, a gentleman comes to 770, that's the headquarters of Chabad in Brooklyn, Crown Heights. And he's angry. He has a torn pants, ponytail, has part of a rock band. He's from the counterculture, a hippie, a Beatle. I don't have to say more. Everyone understands, right? Everyone lived through that. Most of us here are a little older, right? Anyway, the Rebbe comes at 10 o'clock each morning to 770 to his office. As he's about to walk up the steps to his office, he stops him and he says in Yiddish, "Ihr seid the Lubavitcher Rebbe, you are the Lubavitcher Rebbe." Now, what does the Rebbe say? I'm the Lubavitcher Rebbe, and it's, you know, he doesn't, and he says, "Ihr seid the Lubavitcher Rebbe," with anger. You're the Lubavitcher Rebbe. The Rebbe nods his head. He says, Ich will fragen, I want to ask something. The Rebbe says, frag, ask. Here is, you know, a 21, 22-year-old gentleman who's angry at his parents and at Judaism, and he's now in a different world, and the Lubavitcher Rebbe, who is this big tzaddik, this big helper of Jewish people. And he says to the Rebbe, "Wo is God?" I heard this, it's online, but I heard it from him himself in Spring Valley once at a wedding. Elliot, he says his name, so I can say his name. Elliot told me himself. Wo is God? But he doesn't say it. He looks at the Rebbe. You understand, they're standing face to face. It's freezing. It's 20 degrees outside. 10 in the morning on the steps leading up to 770, face to face, and he says, "Wo is God? Where is God?" And the Rebbe says, "Iberal, all over." He says, "Aber wo is er?" Or the "Wie is er?" He spoke, I think, the Polish dialect of Yiddish. Where is he? Where is he? So the Rebbe says, "Da, which means here, there, everywhere. He doesn't accept it. He says, if God is here, there, everywhere, why is there a Jewish God, a Muslim God, a Christian God? How many gods are there? And the Rebbe tells him that there's one God, and this God is found in the hearts. Shema Yisrael, b'chol levavecha, in your heart. Still not accepting the answer. So why are there Christians, Muslims, Jews, Catholics? And the Rebbe says the Christian serves God with his Christian or her Christian heart, the Jew with his heart, the Muslim with his or her heart. Go learn the concise edition of the Code of Jewish Law, the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch. Put on tefillin, and may God help you. And the Rebbe continues up the steps, and Elliot goes back to his world. He told me that he didn't initially run and put on a pair of tefillin. It didn't happen that way. But he thought about it. He thought about it. He thought about it. He thought about it. And after a few months, he took out his tefillin, his bar mitzvah tefillin. That his father, the survivor, gave him. His father survived the camps, and he had a number on his arm. And he bought him a pair of tefillin. He bought this young boy. And he took it out. And he put on the tefillin after years of not putting on tefillin because he was angry. And he started to re-experience Judaism. Today, he's a grandfather with an entire Jewish family observing Torah, happily married and put together. Where would he have been if he would have continued with his anger? Where would he have been? Who knows where would he have been? I don't know if he would still be here today. But the Lubavitcher Rebbe saved a soul during January 1973, the coldest day of the year, in speaking to this lost soul. When a child or a grandchild or a great-grandchild sees a video of one of us here sitting at this holy gathering, right? You never know what will ignite his or her neshama, their soul. And you never know what that will do and keep them on the straight path, on the normal path, on the path of decency and being a Yid. You never know. Shlomo Carlebach used to always say, you never know. You never know. We can never know. You can never know. So therefore, the importance of documenting and recording our life is so important for the future. So do yourself a favor and start this process tomorrow. Tomorrow. Not after Rosh Hashanah. And not after the High Holy Days. Tomorrow. Start thinking about it. Start speaking about it with your spouse, with your kids, with your friends. And you'll see, more or less, something will happen, you know? And today, one second. Today, with all these gadgets, you can record easily, you can transcribe. It's an open world. Yes.
Last thing I expected to hear tonight was, the story you're telling about recording your life. A few years ago, I started a company called Legacy Videos, where people can record their lives, leave their life story for their kids and their grandkids. And I've interviewed several Holocaust survivors, and it was very rewarding. Maybe I could be your right-hand man down here in Florida.
Everything is divine providence. Before you leave, you'll give me information, I'll give you mine, and we'll make a shidduch.
Bruce, you gotta.
Wow, what a picture.
The story Rabbi Dalfin just said of that man and his encounter with the Rebbe, I'm going to post it on our shul WhatsApp. I'll do it right now, actually. Beautiful. It's worth watching
Can I
it
share a story?
and listening to it.
So,
So look out for the WhatsApp, our shul's WhatsApp, and I'm going to post the link to that story.
so similar to this story, I want to share a quick story. I'll give Rabbi Dolphin a quick,
Oh, please,
just a
please.
minute to take a breath.
A minute, give me more than a minute. Go ahead, Labor, go ahead, Labor.
So a couple of years ago, typically on Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, we have a police detail